Welcome. I'm Kinetic Symphony. I hunt down and report on weird and true mysterious stories, from glitches to the paranormal. Would you like even more content? Here's my Patreon. Now onto the stories. Case file number 1304, written by ProfessorFrogit, the mysterious girl who protects me. The first time I saw her, I was 6. We were playing the opposite of hide and seek. One person hides while everyone else looks, and once you find the person, you hide with them till there's only one person looking. It was my turn to hide, and I chose to hide under the stairs where my dad kept all the camping gear because there were lots of things to hide under, behind, and so on. There was only one person left. With all of us cramped in the room under the stairs, the last person left was sitting on the stairs above us, my brother, and we could hear him yelling in his defeat to get us to surrender. In my hiding spot, I could see the door that led out, and it was cracked a little bit. A girl about my age poked her head in the room and waved at me. I had said out loud, "What's your name?" With no reply, she vanished, which prompted me to follow after her, yelling at her to come back, ultimately giving up our hiding spot. Everyone under the stairs, brothers and cousins, started yelling at me asking what the hell I was doing and who I was talking to. Nobody else had seen her, and we couldn't find her upon searching. The next time I saw her, I had gone over to the neighbor's house to play with the boy my age because they had just gotten a new puppy. The neighboring boy had 8 siblings, Mormons, all boys, and the oldest son had come to visit. He came into the basement where we were playing. Shortly after, I heard my name being called from upstairs by a girl. I had figured it was one of the neighboring girls, as it was common to have friends show up uninvited in my neighborhood. Everyone had an open door policy. The same girl I had seen before was standing at the top of the stairs. She told me to call over to my house and have my older brother come walk me home right now. We lived right next door. I didn't feel at all scared and just did what she told me right then and there. My older brother was furious and couldn't understand why I couldn't just do the 15-second walk home by myself. I have multiple instances seeing and hearing from her when in the presence of that older neighboring boy, always telling me it was time to go home or not leave my brother's side or be alone with him ever. I'm not sure why I'd never questioned or feared her. I was one stubborn child and hated when told what to do. At the age of 8, I was sleeping when I had gotten shaken awake. It was her. She told me I needed to be really quiet and go wake my dad up because someone was outside my window. I did what I was told and went to wake my dad. He got his gun out of the safe by his bed and instructed me to stay with my mom. A few seconds later, he started screaming at my mom to call 911. Sure enough, there was someone outside my window. When the officers were questioning me, I mentioned the little girl who freaked out my parents. I told them about the girl for the first time as well as all the times I've seen her. They took me in to see the bishop as I was about to get baptized and due to meet him anyway, and instructed to tell him all about her and when I've seen her, which started me on all types of church therapy bullcrap and vows of secrecy for getting a gift from God and blah blah blah. I saw her on the way home from my boyfriend's house one night in high school. I was driving at around midnight through a back road that had trees on all sides. I was coming up to an intersection where I had no stop signs, but the perpendicular road did. She walked out from the tree line in front of me, causing me to slow to a stop just before the intersection. As soon as I stop, a car blows through the stop sign just in front of me, scaring the crap out of me. I turned back to where she was, and she just smiled and walked back into the tree line. Had I not stopped, I would have been hit on my side of the car by the person who blew through the stop signs. I've seen her on many other occasions. Call it hallucinations, call it divine intervention, call it whatever you want, but I'm grateful for her. I've never seen her and been scared, more at peace, kind of like seeing an old friend. To those asking how I personally feel about it, the supernatural, to be honest, I really don't know and have been on a journey to find that out since leaving my religion. As mentioned below, I have had many encounters with mental health professionals, and it has been brought up that it's a possibility that my unconscious mind is forcing my conscious mind to acknowledge and respond to potential danger. I don't at all want to discount my own personal experiences of reality, or the experiences of others for that matter, and I'm grateful beyond words for the protection and warning I've got from her, whether it be on my head or not. But I also ask myself often, why me? Why do I get help and protection when so many need it more? And that is my inner struggle at the moment, not wanting to disregard or be ungrateful for my many experiences with her. But I also work in pediatric behavioral health and see a lot of horrible and devastating things that happen to the innocent by the hands of another. It's often hard to think of her as being a guardian angel or a divine intervention when there are so many people who needed protection and didn't get it. Case notes are file 1304. The mysterious girl who protects me. So she was there with you your entire life, and there was a scene in this story where she was actually shaking you awake. And that exceeds the boundaries of what most spirits can do, like physically grabbing hold of you. And spirits can sometimes physically touch things and move them, but it's very fleeting, and it's not the same thing as someone vigorously shaking you. So to me, this does mean that it was a guardian angel, or maybe even purely a manifestation in your own mind, connected to future buffered information or just the general pool of information that's out there. And your mind, your conscious mind, was taking that information and translating it into a way that you would connect with more easily, consciously, in the form of a person. Now, it could definitely be a guardian angel, but it does make you wonder, right? Why you? Why do some people have guardian angels? Or why do some people get to have a guardian angel in the moment they need it? My theory with that is guardian angels are not omnipotent, and they're not omniscient either. So they can have access to more knowledge than us and a wider field of view, but they're not always going to be there because they can't be. They can't be in every single place at all the time. And maybe not every person has their own guardian angel. Probably guardian angels try to occupy maybe a general area or different specific people, but not just one-to-one, is my guess. Case file number 1305, written by Chris351. Lost in the Loo. I was doing a walking tour, and right at the start there's a public toilet. It's one of those box cubicles in the street that you can put a coin in to unlock the door, and it washes itself after some time. Well, there was a queue of people who wanted to use the toilet before starting the tour, and I joined the queue. People are coming in and out. We get to the last 3 people in the queue, and an older lady is taking a really long time in the cubicle. We start to worry something happened to her, so I knock. No answer. I knock again and shout to her. No answer. I realize the green, vacant light is on. I put a coin in, open the door. The cubicle is empty. Everyone swears they saw this woman go in. There's a line of people standing by the door with their legs crossed, waiting for their turn to use it. Surely someone would have noticed if anyone came out. Anyway, she disappeared. Case on to file 1305. Lost in a loo. Well, this is a simple case of DOP, but occurring to an actual human being. My guess is they just switch universes. Curious, it's almost always out of vision. How often do you get stories where people physically see someone fading out of existence? Almost never. Can I even remember a single story where someone, in plain sight, simply faded out of existence? But really, from their perspective, they just move universes. But from other people's perspectives, no. It always happens when we don't see it. I think this is probably built into the very code of the universe where multiversal transit is allowed, but it's never meant to be in view of anyone else. The observer effect. Canceling that transition. You have to be out of sight. So you get these things happening often in elevators and in any enclosed space. It does make you wonder though, what about on cameras? Some elevators do have cameras. Of course, you have to go back and actively want to look for it, so there was a case a long time ago, one of them, 3 years ago, where there was a little girl in a hotel elevator that got off on a different floor, or her floor, but it was in a different universe. Entirely different place. Then went back into the elevator and came back, and police were there. Whole investigation was called. And I think they checked the security cameras and they showed the girl disappearing. Or maybe she was just out of sight of the camera, I'm not sure, but yeah, makes you wonder if we could possibly catch this on camera. And now time for the quote of the day. I know, it's all wrong. By rights, we shouldn't even be here, but we are. It's like in the great stories, Mr. Frodo. The ones that really mattered. Full of darkness and danger they were. And sometimes you didn't want to know the end. Because how could the end be happy? How could the world go back to the way it was when so much bad had happened? But in the end, it's only a passing thing, this shadow. Even darkness must pass. A new day will come, and when the sun shines, it will shine out the clearer. Those were the stories that stayed with you, that meant something, even if you were too small to understand why. But I think, Mr. Frodo, I do understand. I know now. Folk in those stories had lots of chances of turning back, only they didn't. They kept going, because they were holding on to something. Samwise Gamgee. I wanted to throw this quote in here now because times are so bleak for a lot of people. You can lose hope easily. And it's good to connect with older stories where, of course, Lord of the Rings is the classic of all classics. There's so many good quotes buried in there, and this is one of those that you can connect to, think back to, because it's not just a story. Or rather, it is a story, but it's a story of life. This happens all the time. People face adversity. They don't always succeed, but damn, they keep going. That perseverance. I was also watching Rocky Balboa again. It's just that perseverance. It's not about how hard you can hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and get back up. So get back up, no matter what. There's no guarantee you'll succeed, but damn, you need to just get back up, no matter what. Like the video, subscribe, hit the bell. Kinetic Symphony signing off.